Yeah, this tick stuff, it's ticking me off. As of course, tick-borne diseases are skyrocketing for record highs, and I think I know why. As Pfizer and Valneva, as well as another Bill Gates-connected company, are set to profit heavily off of this new type of conspiracy that I believe is playing out right now on American soil in some of the most sinister ways possible. Disturbing news from the CDC, as of course this year's tick season off the charts. In my own personal opinion, it is not a coincidence, as of course some of the ticks out there, lab-born, genetically engineered ticks that make you allergic to meat. Not only allergic, but also will take your life if you eat beef after being inflicted by their bioweapon, in my own personal opinion. If you appreciate us talking about this particular topic, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. As of course, the news reporting is very concerning. I love being in nature. I love going on nature hikes. And a lot of that is kind of stalled here now with this larger fear of all of these ticks everywhere. And a lot of reports coming out talking about how there's just box of ticks being left out in multiple parks all over the place, as well as this kind of very suspicious spread of the alpha-gal tick that with previous ticks, right, it took like many years, right, to fully kind of spread out everywhere there. This one, this latest new one that makes you allergic to meat, boom, everywhere. In a matter of months. How's that possible? As right now we're dealing with a serious concern that I think people should be made aware of. There's, of course, natural stuff that you could try to make sure ticks don't get to you. Chickens are great against ticks, but some people are saying, screw it, I'll use the DEET. I don't care. I don't want to be allergic and to possibly lose my life for eating beef. Imagine. I would just be done and I'd just be dead. I'd just be like, oh my goodness. I got bit by this tick. I can't have a ribeye. I'm going to have this ribeye. Oh, I'm dead. As U.S. doctors are saying, to be very careful, as of course tick season seems to be off to a fast start with an unusual high number of bites already reported across the country. Some U.S. doctors are worried about this potential for a bad year for tick-borne diseases. If you have a lot of exposure, there will probably be more cases of tick-related infections, said Dr. Alan Fisfoff, an infectious disease doctor at Middlesex Hospital in Connecticut. The Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention issued an early advisory to the public this week to guard against ticks. Tick bites usually spike in May, but the data is telling us now it's time to take action, said Allison Hickley, a CDC Lyme's disease expert. Ticks are out, and people are getting bitten. ER visits for tick bites running high, as these new type of diseases, a lot of people believe, have been genetically engineered. It wouldn't surprise me if they were here, as of course, a lot of people are now talking about how there are massive amounts of hotspots all around the country. Again, if you're in any wooded or grassy areas, ticks are even showing up in places like Florida, which is crazy, right? Ticks are usually perched on ankle-level vegetation, right? They're waiting just to latch on to dogs or to humans. Check your dogs for ticks, as people are told to wear light-colored clothing with insecticide. All right. And again, some people are saying, I don't care. I'll get the exposure to DEET. People are saying if you find a tick, remove it immediately. Right. I have a little kit that I have with me that allows you to capture the tick to see if there's any kind of serious illness related with that tick that was latched onto you. Have your partner, your friend, your family member check you for ticks every time you come from nature. And then chickens are great. I have my chickens. I love my chickens. And they also help fight ticks out there. Now, all of this is happening as Pfizer is now looking to license a procedure for tick-borne diseases. Look at that. Bill Gates, who is heavily invested in Big Pharma, also the stocks of his fake meat company are going up. Look at that. As, of course, a lot of this kind of boils down to the Club of Rome and what Zbigniew Brzezinski literally talked about many, many years ago. And this is extremely concerning, to say the least. As Mike Cernovich says, tick season hits different this year. As he retweeted someone saying that they just visited Missouri, stayed with their family. They let the dog stay too. The dog came back with numbers of ticks here. Tim Pool. The Lone Star tick is spreading rapidly and can make you allergic to beef. The good news is that thanks to billions in lab-grown meat investment, an alternative can be grown that won't trigger their allergy. What a perfect coincidence, along with Pfizer. Wow. Look at that here. As, of course, people are literally retweeting videos like this. Now, again, not official confirmation, but a lot of people around the country are saying there's just boxes of ticks being dropped off everywhere.
I'm out here mushroom hunting, and I found, there it is right there, the tick box. I'm not going to touch it because there's ticks all over that thing. I know there is. Look at them crawling out of it. Millions of them. You can see the tick.
Now, I don't know if that's a tick. I haven't, confirmed it personally. But Alex Jones came out and had some very interesting things to say about this. We're going to be playing his reaction to all of this. Before we do, we wanted to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, and that, of course, is getintogoldnow.com. Look, if you've been paying attention at all, you already know what's happening right now. Everything is getting more expensive. Food, energy, housing. Your cost of living is going up across the board. But here's the part most people still aren't thinking about. It's not just the things that cost more. It's that your money is being devalued in real time. And the problem is most people are still sitting in the same system that's causing it. Their savings, their retirement, completely exposed to it. So while everything gets more expensive, what they've built is actually losing purchasing power. That's why more people are starting to look at ways to protect a portion of what they have outside of that system. Things like physical gold, and in some cases, even moving part of their IRA or retirement accounts into physical gold and silver. But most people have no idea how that actually works. That's why I've been working with Augustus Precious Metals. They keep it straightforward, walk you through how it works, answer your questions, and let you decide if it makes sense for you. If you want to look at it, go to getintogoldnow.com or text Luke 35052 to get their guide. I've taken the time to vet them. That's why I'm comfortable mentioning them here. At the very least, understanding what's happening and what your options are. Go check them out. Really appreciate them sponsoring it and working with us. As of course, I think these videos are important. They need to get out there, and they definitely do help us do that in many different ways. Now, here's Alex Jones responding to this. As of course, listen, he's been talking about this for a very long time, especially when it comes to like biological forms of warfare that have been waged against the American people for decades. If you look at like unsuspecting civilians being used as test subjects for all these weird, awful scientific experiments, Tuskegee, the radioactive St. Louis experiments, the subway experiments in Philadelphia and New York, the MK Ultra experiments, right? Those are the ones we just know about. Imagine the ones that we don't know anything about.
But what I do know is that Bill Gates is involved with genetically mutating mosquitoes and releasing them in the U.S. and Latin America and other areas of Africa. He is involved breeding up these deadly ticks. The CIA has declassified they're involved. And now these ticks, when you see this footage, people find these boxes that fall out of the sky. That's how they do it. Planes at night. And just all these baby ticks pour out of it. And I've been on hunting all over the country, in Canada, you name it. And I know where ticks are, and I've seen what baby ticks look like. This is 100%, thousands of baby ticks pouring out of a box. And this is what everybody's reporting everywhere. They keep catching videos of this, the same boxes. Little 10 boxes full of these ticks that are loaded with alpha-gal syndrome virus. So when they bite you, you can never eat red meat again. A lot of times you die.
Yeah. People are like, oh, you just become allergic to it and then become a nice vegan. Vegans have a lot of associated health problems. No shade on you if you choose to do that. I think it's actually, kind of coming from a place of good-heartedness, but being a little misinformed, right? Because the vegan diet also has a lot of animals that, and I'm not getting into it. There's going to be vegans that are going to be mad at me. It's okay. It's all right. But just do your own homework, do your own research, and listen, I think there's a reason the globalists want us all eating fake meat and fake heavily processed stuff, and not things like ribeyes that are jam-packed with nutrition and B vitamins. B vitamins, very hard to get. A lot of vitamins that are like synthetic, like B synthetic vitamins, not good. B vitamins sourced from animals, big difference between them. Anyway, that's why I'm in the vitamin industry. But listen, vegans have this kind of reputation of being frail, of being smaller, of not having muscles. Not always. There's exceptions to the rule, obviously. Genetics plays a role in that too. But when you're not eating kind of red meat, right, you're typically going to be more frail, more easily conquerable. And I think really this is something that the globalists have been like plotting and like doing for an extremely long time, as they literally openly talking about it at the World Economic Forum. What if there's a way we could make people allergic to meat? That would be great for the environment. No, that would be great for the elites to come and subjugate all of us. As of course, all this environmental talk is literally just code words for human enslavement.
That's Bill Gates especially. You're watching out.
Yeah. Now, he went on and kind of extrapolated on this a couple days beforehand as well. And he talked about how he believes that this is a coordinated release that has been spreading all around the country, that, of course, is most likely genetically engineered through gain-of-function research work that originally is also tied into Lyme disease, according to some experts.
You've got the Lone Star tick spreading all over the country that they admit now has this weaponized Lyme disease that they declassified, the CIA created. That's the CIA declassified that about a month ago. We already knew decades ago and told you that. And they've added to it a beef allergy, another red meat allergy, so that if you get bitten by the tick, you become deathly ill or even die if you ever eat beef again. And then we have the WEF and UN 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, saying we're going to add this to ticks, and that way nobody can eat beef.
People eat too much meat, right? And if
Yeah, this is the clip that I was talking about. People eat too much meat. Do they? On whose assessment? All the people? Like, you're making just gross generalizations. Oh, the people eat too much meat. Really? That seems like you're kind of made up opinion here. As of course, like if these blowhard people really did care about the environment, we would have been preaching about regenerative farming practices, right? Granted, big problems with factory farming, right? Big problems with that. But when it comes to actually fixing this stuff, fixing the soil and the soil health, a lot of these people don't talk about that. They don't talk about the kind of microbiome building up of good bacteria in the soil that's being depleted through, of course, Monsanto Bayer, that these same people are taking money from. They're not talking about like, hey, people should become more personally responsible. Like that's the reasonable thing. Hey, people should grow their own fruits and vegetables. People should have their own chickens. People should be, not restrained by all these stupid HOA rules and laws and regulations that are nuts. We're headed towards like financial calamity. People need to be personally responsible than ever. If you think you're going to release a message to the general public, it's not, hey, you stop eating meat. You eat that fake processed crap now. Really? Which is crazy. You say, hey guys, let's stop maybe just spraying Roundup on your lawn. Stop doing that. And how about we regenerate the lawn to have life, right? And then help there to be a good, nice circulatory ecosystem of bugs, of chickens, of good dirt, of composting, of recycling. That's what you do. And these buffoons, they're saying, yeah, we got to make you allergic to meat. No. You scoundrels. You Luciferian death cult scoundrels.
If they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet.
Oh, you help the planet. I help the planet by making you my beach. Yes, you'll become fair little beach, and I rule you. Come on. I meant the female dog, if any kids are watching. Sorry about that.
But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, you know, some people will be.
Yeah. I'm not willing to give it up. Not going to happen here, buddy. All right? I'm in the process of right now tearing my property into a little regenerative little property, too. It's fun. I got charcoal. I got chicken poop. I got dog poop. I got my mulch. I'm doing it, baby. I got a bunch of mint. My family planted mint, and I'm like, you should have planted it in a pot. I got a bunch of mint to fight against. Not fun. I digress.
Willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat.
How about no, you jackal?
Certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
Evil scoundrel.
And right on time, Pfizer seeks to introduce Lyme's vaccine as states face worst tick season ever. Increase in alpha-gal syndrome meat. How many years ago did I tell you? Decades ago, alpha-gal syndrome is coming. Told you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Did dozens of shows the last few years saying, watch, it's spreading everywhere. Ticks are showing up thousands of miles of where they were because they're being dropped out. Turns out the CIA developed this at Plum Island. I'll show you the news articles. They took the Nazi scientists at Plum Island off New York after World War II, weaponized syphilis, called it Lyme's disease, put it into ticks. Now they've added this other pathogen with it, and the syphilis is the carrier for the alpha-gal syndrome. What foods can trigger reactions? Beef, pork, lamb, venison.
Yeah. Now, all the beautiful things in life, right? Everything has a cycle in life, especially when you start to really treat it with respect here. It really highlights the kind of beauty, the kind of amazingness that we have in our kind of existence. When you become a farmer, it's not easy. I lived on a farm when the COOF was going on. And when it was going on, it was just absolutely crazy to kind of see it all in its kind of fullest extent here. Now, what's the treatment for Lyme's now? Well, lots of people are talking about alternative treatments. Lots of people are talking about a crap ton of antibiotics. But there are new studies out there highlighting how there could be 100 times lower dose of antibiotics. Because again, antibiotics wreck your gut microbiome. Again, antibiotics are amazing, incredible. But a lot of doctors just give it out like it's candy. Sometimes you really do legitimately need it, obviously. So again, be careful out there, right? As it's pretty crazy to see the number of people that are dealing with this, don't even know that they're dealing with this, right? And it's kind of like a slow burn. And then other people are just eating beef and they just feel a little sicker and then more sicker and then more sicker. This needs to be fully investigated, right? This needs to be fully looked into. And this is one of the reasons why I was we need accountability for COOF. If we don't have accountability for COOF, This thing is only going to get crazier with the biological forms of warfare, and we need to stop it, right? Now, again, lots of people are sharing their tips. They're talking about lemon eucalyptus oil. Again, I'm like, Mike Cernovich is like, I don't care. I'm going to use DEET. Give me that DEET. I don't care. I'm not getting bit by these things. They talk about how people are creating gravel or mulch barriers, right? Some people are talking about how they're using lime, right? Other people are saying, hey, let's go get some possums. Possums are great. Chickens are great here. But a lot of people believe what's happening right now is a form of kind of eco-pharmaceutical terrorism. Whether it's true or not, take your precautions. Don't be a victim. Get the word out there. I mean, there's like children's schools being affected by this pretty severely. Make sure to check your dog, right? And definitely start to check yourself as soon as you get out of the forest. Make sure to look everywhere. It's crazy, the number of people that are having to deal with this. If you're one of them, I'm sorry. And let's get the word out so more people don't get affected by it. Thank you again to our sponsor, getintogoldnow.com. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you sharing this video. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechanged.